I've been building this beautiful little farming village for about 400 days now, and while it's shaping up nicely, it's still a long way from the cozy little farming village that I had in mind. So today I'm going to completely transform this hillside and make it the coziest looking village that I've ever built, which means I get to go extra crazy with all the decorations, as I have over 300 mods that give me a lot of ways to make this place look beautiful. But before I do anything, let's do a little landscaping to give us a good layout to work from, as I have a lot of builds on today's list, including a fishing hut, a watermill, a tavern, a library, some market stalls, a few crop fields, and a ton of decorations. And if you haven't done so already, be sure to blow up that subscribe button. With that being said, let's get to it. Now, I actually want to take a whole new approach in this world and make everything that I build make sense, much like the workings of city building games like Foundation and Manor Lords. So today, for example, I want to build a tavern. That means at some point I need to build a brewery, a wheat farm, and a hop farm of some sort. Plus, we have the watermill, which will be grinding down wheat into flour, so we need another wheat field and a bakery to turn the flour into bread. I also have many other ideas, such as adding stone and lumber camps to explain where building materials come from, and so much more to help tell the story of how this world came to life. And a lot of these builds will just be for looks, but I will try my best to make them functional where possible. But I'll get more into that a little bit later on. For now, let's get the area shaped up and ready to build on. And of course, after all that landscaping, I had to head over to the zombie farm to repair my tools. I mean, I have a big old list of resources for this project, so best to make sure my tools are in good shape first. I then set off on an adventure and apparently took out my first buffalo along the way, earning me a new achievement. I also found a beekeeper who seems to have lost his bees, and found myself a used pair of gold pants. Nice. I also came across a fisherman on a boat who was well stocked up on fish, so I robbed a few. Borrowed a few. I'll be sure to stop by and drop him off a few emeralds a bit later. Or will I? I also got chased through the jungle by some angry hippos, so of course I had to show them who was boss by taking them out with my bow. I continued exploring the area and came across some small drip leaf, so I made sure to gather up as much as I could find, along with some other items that would be nice to decorate the water's edge with, such as reeds, lily pads, and cattails. Then finally, after travelling thousands of blocks, I found a mangrove swamp, so I found a nice spot and placed down a waystone so that I could easily travel back and forth to my storage system. While I was in my storage system, I also made use of the botany pots mod so that I could farm lily pads and drip leaf automatically. I then headed back to the swamp and started gathering mud and muddy mangrove roots so that I could use it to decorate the water's edge by my farm. I also spent a lot of time chopping down pine trees, gathering small fir trees, digging up coarse dirt, and chopping down some cobwebs. At this point, it was time to return to the zombie farm so that I could repair my tools, as I now needed to head underground so that I could mine some iron and any other resources that I could find, of course. Okay, I think that is enough mining for now, so let's head up top and see what we found. And of course I'm going to mine all of this up with my Fortune 3 pickaxe, as that should give me plenty of supplies. Yeah, that's not bad for just an hour's work. Hopefully it should last me quite a while. Anyway, I think it's time for some building. And I think I want to make use of the water stream here by building up a watermill, which I think would fit so nice just down here. So let's grab some materials and get to work. Okay, that build took me way longer than I expected, but the watermill is all in place now, and it's looking a bit more like a cottage, but I think it fits perfectly on the water's edge here. The water wheel itself is a pretty simple design, but I think it works really well with the build itself. But I'm still learning all the new blocks available in modded, so it may change over time. And of course I haven't finished the interior just yet, but I have added the workings for the water wheel. So we have a big cog just here, which will turn this one up here, and then turn this one just here to grind down the grains, which will pass through this tube here and then get bagged up and taken to the bakery. Then up here I have added a few details to make it look like it's working and all connected, with a long shaft connecting to the cog downstairs. But all of the wheat will be thrown in here and then get ground down in the tube and then bagged up downstairs. So overall I think it is looking pretty good, but I do still need to come back and finish off the interior. But I have added some change to make it look like everything in here is working and that everything moves. So overall I'm pretty happy with how this one is shaped up so far. Now before starting the next build, let's quickly make a little field in here. So let's add some water sources, till the grass, and I think I'll plant some hops in here as this one is going to be next to the tavern. And just like other crops, these can be grown with bone meal so that we can get more hops. Next up, I think I want to quickly change these out for some peonies, as I think they will look a lot better. And I also think this field here would look better if we fill in all the gaps with more flowers. I also think I'll place some leaves around here to make this area look a little bit more like a field. And then maybe I can fill that with some mountain snowbells, as I think they look like a pretty cool flower. Almost like a small crop of sorts. Oh yeah, that looks much better. Okay, let's get back to some building, and next up I want to build a tavern, which I think is going to sit just over here, as I think this will be a nice spot with a nice little stairway leading up to it. One thing with modded is there are so many new blocks, which is great, but all of those new blocks take so long to craft, so while it makes the game a lot more fun, it does make the grind a little bit tougher. So for the silt bricks, I'm going to need to mine these silt blocks into silt balls. Then I'm going to have to smelt those into silt brick, and finally craft them into silt brick blocks. Things are a little slow at the moment, but I imagine it'd be much easier once I start learning all these new recipes. Anyway, I think I have everything I need to start building the tavern, so let's get to it. Oh, damn! My axe just broke while stripping the wood. Oh, I should have been paying more attention. Oh well. To be fair, I have been meaning to enchant my armor anyway, as it's not the best. So I was going to do that in the next episode, but I guess I might as well do it now and get myself all geared up properly. So let's grab some books, a stack of diamonds. I'll quickly craft myself a new axe, and I'll grab a bunch of wood so that we can craft it into sticks for trading. Now I'm back at the old village, so first let's do some enchanting. Okay, efficiency 4. Really? That's all? Okay, let's craft another axe. And will it just be efficiency 4 again? Okay, we also got unbreaking 3 as well. Let's craft another axe, and what do we get? Okay, the same again. So let's combine these two for efficiency 5 and unbreaking 3. And now, onto my secret little villager trading room. So let's craft a ton of sticks and trade for emeralds. Now I can buy a Silk Touch book, a bunch of mending books, and one fortune free book. So all I need now is a new helmet, as my last one broke. And if I enchant that, I get unbreaking 3, ooh, and protection 4, perfect. So let's craft another helmet and reroll the enchantment for, yes, respiration 3 and aqua affinity. Now I can just combine those helmets for respiration 3, protection 4, unbreaking 3 and aqua affinity. Excellent. I'll also put mending and silk touch on my axe, and now it looks like I'm low on levels, so let's throw this back on and get some more levels from the zombie farm. I then spent several hours back and forth between the zombie farm, enchantment table and trading with the villagers to get myself all the enchantments that I wanted. I even had to chop down a few trees for some more logs so that I could craft sticks to trade some emeralds. And just a few protection books should bring my armor all up to protection 4. And I think I just need them on my boots and my chest plate for now, which should give me some pretty decent armor. Let's throw those on, and yeah, that's looking pretty good. So I think that's all the enchanting I need for now, but maybe I should keep an eye on my tool's durability in the future. Anyway, let's get back to building. So the tavern is all in place now and looking pretty good, but it definitely needs some detailing. So first, let's add some lighting just so that we don't get no mob spawning. And doors, definitely gonna need some doors. Let's also place a campfire in here for a nice little fireplace. And maybe place a few of these cool little windows with the arches at the top. And of course this is a tavern, so we definitely need a sign out here of some sort. I'll also add some flower pots, gutters, and a few flowers for decoration. And I'll also do the same around here, and maybe a few more around this side too. And just for safety, I should add some lighting out here as well. And maybe just a few hanging flower pots. Oh, and let's not forget to add a chimney. Yeah, this build is looking so good. I actually think this is my favorite build in the village so far. I mean, it does give me a bit of cottage vibes, but I love it. You guys are ruining the vibe, so get your butts out of here. I think they shot me a few times. Jeez, that one's going through my neck. Ouch. Okay, let's add a few tables out here, and because this is the tavern, I probably will come back a bit later and add some food and drink on these, but for now I think that will do. Next up, I want to build a fisherman's hut just over here, and then I was thinking maybe to decorate the river's edge along here just to make it look a bit nicer, and then maybe add some market stalls over here for decoration. Next to the fisherman's hut, I also want to build a small dock with a little boat, which should really make the area look nice. So let's get back to building. So the fishing hut is all in place now, and for this one I went with a slightly different colour palette, which I think turned out really nice. I've also added some fishing nets, some barrels for detailing outside, and then on the inside I have a fireplace and a stairway in place, but I'll come back to the rest of the interior later on. Around the side here we also have a small little dock that could be used for some fishing, and then of course we have a fisherman's boat, which I think turned out awesome. It's a really simple design, but it certainly does the job. I also added some detailing by the water's edge here, but I still have a lot more to do, including over here by the watermill. Maybe I'll add a tree over here, and then the market stalls will go in here, and I will detail the water's edge all the way around, but the area up here will be a little garden area with a bridge connecting over to the other side. This will turn into a little pathway leading up to a little barn for storage, and then maybe some fields or something to fill in the empty space. But before I do anything else, I just want to take a look at the roof edge here, as I love the subtle texturing that we've got on this roof and the one over here. It just looks really nice, so I think I want to do something similar on this roof as well. So it's not a huge change, but it does make a difference. And I even added a little bit of texturing on the walls as well, just to make it look even nicer. With the roof all in place, I then spent a few hours adding in more pathways and then detailing the waterfront with mud to make it feel a little bit more lived in. I also added lots of foliage, including leaves, grass, ferns, reeds, lilies, and cattails to make the area look very lush. I then built a couple of trees next to the fisherman's hut, and then built another one over by the watermill, which really helped tie everything together. I then worked on filling in the little planters next to the tavern, added a bunch of greenery and a little cherry tree for a change of colour. I then made a similar design in the opposite planter just to help add a bit of greenery to the area. I then moved up to the area behind the tavern. Again, the dark oak fences were showing up as blue in the replay, so if you know a fix for this, please let me know in the comments. And with this side of the hillside looking very lush and cozy, it's time to make a start on the other side, which is looking kind of empty. So for this side, I want to start by building a bridge from this side over to that side. And then I want to decorate the water's edge so that it looks similar to the other side and not as boring as it looks right now. And for the bridge itself, I want to build one on an angle as I think it will look a lot better. And I'll probably use a mix of pat mud blocks, which should help add a nice bit of contrast to the area. And I think I've managed to gather up everything I need for this one, so let's see what we can do. Ooh, look at the cute little bird. Okay, let's not get distracted. Once I finished the bridge, I quickly headed off to find some rooted dirt as I needed this for my pathways. And it wasn't too long before I found an azalea tree, so I mined all of the rooted dirt and then headed off to the mesa biome to gather up a ton of red terracotta, as I wanted to add a bit of colour to the village and the red terracotta tiles for the library roof would be perfect. Once I had more than enough terracotta, I headed back to the zombie farm to yet again repair my tools, as they was in pretty bad shape. And now that my tools are looking nice and shiny again, we can get ready to start the build, which is going to sit just over here, and then I'll work on the walkway leading up to where the barn will be. But the rest of this area is mostly finished now and shaping up into a really nice space that is a little bit more open, plus it has a nice little pond here to chill out next to. Anyway, let's work on getting that library in place. Wow, that took me so much longer than it should have, but it has turned out really nice. Again, there is no interior yet, but there is plenty of room for the library and all of the books. And then upstairs there will be a cozy little area for reading where you can keep nice and warm. But overall, I think it looks pretty good. To be honest, the more I look at this build, the more I like it. The red roof really adds a nice little change of colour to the village, while still feeling very fitting with everything else. And over on this side, we now have a nice little pathway, which brings us all the way up to where the barn will be. This guy's looking like he's got some plans. Anyway, over this side there will be some fields for decoration, and then maybe a pathway going all the way around this side that leads back to our house. So I guess next up is getting that barn in place. So let's get back to work. farm was all in place, I added a couple of small fields and then added some red and green grapes as they looked like small berry bushes, which added a nice little colour accent to the area. And then added a nice little pathway using coarse and rooted dirt, which really finished off the area. And with that all in place, the hillside is really starting to shape up now, but I just need to finish off working on some of the market stalls on the waterfront, which might take me a while as these display some of the new placeable food items, such as bread, cheese, jams and fish. So let's quickly craft some wooden buckets, and to craft the cheese I'm going to need some rennet, which can be crafted with eggs and alpine salt, and that can be made using our small cooking pot. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so slow. Wow. I think I can also use this to make grain milk, which I think uses wheat. And I should be able to use that to make grain cheese, right? Yes. Okay, this is going to be really slow, but I guess I'll just have to go with it for now. First, I need to gather up all the different milk variants, which is going to be a bit of a mission. So I started by gathering up sheep milk and cow's milk, which was very easy as I can find them everywhere. I then moved on to gathering buffalo milk, and that's where things really slowed down. I mean, I searched for hours. I even came across some bison, which I was convinced were buffalo, but I soon realized that they couldn't be milked. Finally, after many hours of searching, I found one trapped in a hole, so I milked it for all it was worth. I then randomly came across some goats outside of a cabin, and as I went to milk them, an illusioner came out, so I ran away like a little girl, and then took him out from a distance with my bow. Which did give me an achievement, by the way. So I ran back, grabbed my drop milk, and then topped up the remaining buckets. All I needed now was warped milk and amethyst milk, which was super confusing, but I finally figured out how to get a warped cow to spawn, which was by placing a nether portal and waiting on the nether side inside a warped forest biome. Honestly, this took me so long to figure out, but I finally got there after spending hours and hours messing around. The last one was the amethyst milk, which was even more confusing, as I thought I had to find a special new mob or something hidden inside an amethyst geode. But after actually looking at the recipes in the cookbook after many hours, I realized that I just needed some amethyst crystals, alpine salt and a wooden milk bucket, which also allowed me to finally complete the challenge mooing. Yeah, they could have gave that one a better name. And I can't believe that it literally took me an entire day to figure this all out. And then finally, after about an hour of cheese making, I had all the cheese I needed for the market stalls and completed the cheese lover challenge. I also played a game with the pillagers, letting them kill their own captain, and then took out the rest of the squad. I then made some new breads, cakes, and jams before finally putting the market stalls all in place. Now the town is looking so awesome. Honestly, this is one of my favorite villages that I've ever built in Minecraft. But to make some of the farming aspects a little bit easier, we definitely need a dairy farm for the milk, and then maybe a cheese maker and a bakery. But what else do you think we should add to this village? Let me know in the comments and I'll catch you next time.